Welcome to Bay Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always happy to come into your home each week. And we bring to you local ministries that are having an outreach, many of them locally here in the community, but beyond Central Florida as well. But today, in just a few minutes, we're going to introduce you to a brand new ministry to us called Bikes for Christ. And this is just such an awesome ministry, what they do in providing bikes for needy people, but you're going to be interested in, we're going to talk to the founder of this ministry and how he started this and his own story of a passion to help people. But before we do that, we're going to feature another ministry, and we have Brooke Rathmel with us again, our reporter for Bay Focus, who's been out in the community, as we love to have you do. And we had a guest, Brooke, and then I'll let you take it from here, but we had a guest a few months ago that did another very unique ministry called Take a Kid Fishing. Right. And they literally take kids out from group homes, from foster home situations, out into deep sea fishing, lakes, everything, and just show the love of Christ through that way. They contacted me and said, we have another ministry you need to do, and it's called Kids Pack.
Yes.
And this just screened Brooke.
Oh yeah,
no. Tell us what that is.
Yeah, so Kids Pack is an organization. So children that receive meals during the school week, so breakfast and lunch, or deducted prices for lunches, they get in touch with Kids Pack. So the schools are connected, and they basically, on the weekends, they provide meals for these kids to go home with. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, all types, all types of children-centric types of food. Yeah. So easy things that they can, put in the microwave, open up and just eat, fruit cups. And they basically provide these meals for them for the whole weekend. And
I know this touched your heart too when you went there, because you don't think of these, some of these families and these children, they get help during the school days in the week, but then they go home and there's a real need.
Exactly.
In that. And then this is a way also that they can, again, I like to call it faith in action. It's an actionable, this ministry is going out, and it's a way to show the love of Christ and do this. This was new to me. I didn't even know this was out there.
Oh yeah, no,
and I did not know they did it.
And you can imagine, I mean, they're at tons of schools within the county, local counties. There are 78 schools or 87 schools, and so it's incredible because they're helping so many children.
It's a big undertaking.
Yeah, and they even said that they've had kids that have left their schools and move to other counties where they don't necessarily have the Kids Pack, and they'll go into the principal's offices and say, do you have this service? And so they're really seeing the impact of what it's having on the families, and so their goal is to continue to bring this to other counties and to other schools.
Well, it takes a lot of organization and volunteers to make this happen, so
Absolutely.
Let's take a look and watch them in action. And here's Brooke's report on Kids Pack.
One local nonprofit is helping children in the community by providing breakfast, lunch, and dinner to them on the weekends.
I support Kids Pack. It's a wonderful organization that provides food on the weekends for our students and helps them to be able to come in and learn on Monday morning and fills that gap that they get. We have a lot of students who do not get food when they go home after the bell rings and they return home in the evenings or on the weekends, and so the Kids Pack organization helps to fill that gap for them.
Kids Pack provides meals to 73 schools in Polk, Hillsborough, and Hardee County, and their child-friendly, non-perishable items are packed and distributed by their volunteers.
Hundreds of volunteers every month that pack the packs and deliver the packs to the schools so that the teachers can distribute them discreetly to the children. And then the pack is full of food that is child-centric. The child can feed themselves. They don't need the assistance of an adult. So if it's not only a situation where they're lacking in available food, it's a situation where there's no one maybe there to help them all the time, then they can administer the food themselves. And then it's done discreetly. It's done in a backpack that fits into the program. They're not outed as a hungry kid. So the program is really intended to uplift the child and to make sure that we preserve that child's sense of hope.
To receive approval for this program, Kids Pack works with the school and administration to identify each child.
We'll work with the Kids Pack organization to help provide them with a list of the schools that may have the highest number of students that have been identified as experiencing homelessness, but also the highest need with the highest free and reduced lunch rate, or the highest percentage of students that are economically disadvantaged, so that they can help target the schools as well.
Kids Pack has fed over 10,000 children locally with the help of community sponsors and volunteers, which then supports a child for the entire school year.
It's $300 a year or $25 a month, and that ensures that that child that has been identified by a particular school will receive food every Friday to take home with him. If we can fuel their tummy and the school can fuel their brain, what an avenue out of poverty. And I will say this, if we do not feed them now to get an education, we as a community will be feeding these children all their lives.
Their goal is to continue to expand this program into even more schools and other counties. And if you'd like to support that initiative, go to kidspack.org. Reporting for Bay Focus, I'm Brooke Rathmel.
Thank you, Brooke, for that great report. And you know, that just can touch your heart, and that is something tangible that you can do and you can help. And that's what we try to do here at Bay Focus, is give you the opportunity to partner with the ministries we feature. So just go to their website, kidspack.org, and there are opportunities there where you can help and you can give a donation or volunteer. So thank you, Brooke, once again. We just love getting out in the community and featuring what's going on. And there's another organization that is new to us that came to my attention. And this is a really good, important part, because the founder who's with us today of Bikes for Christ, Pat Simmons, great to have you with us today, Pat. He contacted me, and I want to encourage that. Those of you watching, you can contact us through the website. We are on Facebook. Bay Focus is there. There's ways you can contact. If I don't know about it, we can't highlight it. And boy, do I love this ministry called Bikes for Christ. You don't usually hear that, you know, bikes and Christ put together, you know. It's a really cool name and concept. And Pat, tell us first of all what Bikes for Christ is, but then I want to talk to you a little bit how this happened. But just for the definition, what is Bikes for Christ?
Well, Bikes for Christ is a ministry that helps people in need. So what we do is we work with organizations that work directly with clients in need. And if they feel like they're working with a client that's really trying to make a difference and improve their lives, then they place a referral order with us. And of course, it's a ministry, so you have that side to it as well. So with every bike we give out these.
Yeah, hold that up for our camera to see. Yeah.
Which are provided by generous donors at the Pocket Testament League. And these are Gospels of John. So we include one of these with every single bike that we give out, because we want that person to know Jesus as their personal Savior. Yeah,
oh, well, that's a big part of it. Okay, you know, you think in terms of you know, sometimes there's transportation needs, people just need bikes just to get around. But there's a way that you discovered that the need was so important. Tell us your story a little bit, because this came about because of, you know, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard this from people we've brought on, what a life-changing experience missions trips are. So talk about that.
Correct. So I'd known for a long time that I wanted to do something that combined my love of cycling with something that actually had purpose, and I didn't know what that was. So in, I think it was June of 2015, I'd wanted to go on a trip to Nicaragua for a long time, because my church has an established church in Nicaragua, but I was scared to fly. But I found out if you take enough Xanax, you can do anything. So
I'm with you, brother. I do not like to fly.
So I made the trip, and it was just life-changing to go to a third world country and to see how different that is from life here in the United States. Because here in the United States, we have every resource in the world, whether it's a private, a public, or government funded, to help people get better, no matter what your situation is. And you go to a place like Nicaragua, they don't have those services. So I came back and I was on fire. I wanted to do something, I didn't know what it was. So I started getting involved with different ministries that work directly with people in need. The first one I got involved with was Amazing Love Ministries near Ybor. And so they have a church there. They provide feedings 3 days a week. Just a great organization that my church was involved in as well. And I went down on a Monday night, as my church feeds the third Monday of every month. So I went that particular Monday. I enjoyed it so much, I said, I'm going to come back and do this every Monday. So I kind of really threw myself into it. Then I was looking, now I want to find another ministry to work with. And I found another ministry called Kay's Ministry that would feed downtown on Sundays. And finally, it's at this point, the light bulb finally goes off above my head and says, you can help these people. You can help these people with transportation. And so that's when I started Bikes for Christ.
So then how, okay, so at that point, you're going, okay, I have this love for cycling. I've seen the need in foreign countries, which, by the way, you're active in another country now, correct?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. It was Guatemala, but then Nicaragua.
Nicaragua first.
First, and now Guatemala. Okay. All right. So you see the need. You see it here in the U.S. as well, with the home, mainly working with the homeless that don't have. They're trying to get better. But that's a huge undertaking. You're not going to start just saying, I'm going to go buy a bunch of bikes and pass them out. How did you organize it?
Well, the first thing I did is I've done a lot of different online marketing through the years, and I knew that in order to get bikes, I had to be a little creative. So I'm like, well, let's just try the Facebook Marketplace. Actually, Facebook didn't have Marketplace yet, so it was just garage sale and yard sale sites where I would just place some ads looking for bike donations for people in need. I also placed some on Craigslist as well. Started getting donations, and they just kind of came in. And then I did some more marketing where developed more things through, well, number one, the website, because now you've got a presence on the web.
Yeah.
And then you do some stuff with Google, and you got all your Google stuff set up correctly. So the donations really, they just came automatically. The problem that I had, though, was 85 to 90% of these bikes need some kind of work. Now I've got to get the bikes worked on. How do I do that? And I found this little bike shop near Plant City, and the guy agreed to do work for me for about half the price. So at least I had someone to fix up the bikes for me now. The next thing was, well, how do I find the people that are deserving of these bicycles?
You're collecting the bikes. How do you disperse them? How do you know the people that are really in need?
So I started with the ministries that I knew already, Amazing Love Ministries and Kay's Ministry, and I left that decision to them. It's your job to vet them out, find out who is really trying to improve their lives and make a difference, and then let's get them a bicycle. So that's how I started out, but I realized early on there has to be a vetting process, and I'm going to do that by working with organizations that work directly with clients in need.
Okay, so now you've actually built up a number of organizations that you work with. So I think it'd be good for our viewers to know who you work with, because it really gives this ministry credibility to see some of the people that you've partnered with. Who are some of these organizations?
Well, one of basically the largest that everybody here in the Tampa Bay area knows is Metropolitan Ministries.
Yeah.
So Metropolitan Ministries, Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul, both the Tampa VA and Bay Pines VA, Florida Department of Corrections, Hillsborough County Sheriff, their homeless coalition, and then down to your smaller nonprofits in the area like Echo in Brandon and the Women's Resource Center in Brandon. So as long as there is a vetting process and they're able to refer us to clients that are really deserving, then we're willing to work with any organization.
All right, so do you actually go then when you're giving out the bikes, and by the way, you have volunteers and people helping you, correct, doing this? I mean, you've got.
We do, yes, we do have some volunteers.
This is one of the reasons we're bringing. You could use more people.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons we're bringing you on.
Absolutely.
To come alongside you and help
Yeah.
you. So the prospective individuals that receive the bikes are vetted and they're referred to you by these organizations. But do you go and deliver the bikes then?
We deliver to the agencies. We found out early on, one of the agencies wanted us to deliver the bikes to the clients, and that was we were chasing down people. So we
Yeah.
deliver directly to the organization,
Okay.
and then that case manager presents the bicycle to the client in need.
And then they come, okay. So then, all right, talk to me about the combination of how you see this. You're going through a variety of different people to do this, to get the bikes, and I have to commend you. You've been very diligent. When people donate to you and donate bikes or finances, whatever you need, which we're going to talk about, you're doing the correct process, because that's one thing you're checking these people out. That's one thing I learned. I've actually done a number of things over the years with Metropolitan Ministries. We've had them on the show, and they do a big holiday tent, every year at Christmas. And they have sometimes had different locations here in Pinellas County, Hillsborough, et cetera. But there, and then a couple other ministries that I've had, there's like a database. They can actually check out people, because there's some people that are just working the system. They're
Yes.
going to different
Yes.
people, and they're just trying to get free stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not really, and those can be sorted out, and that's what you're doing. You're really trying to utilize these agencies and groups you work with to get to the people that are truly in need. So do you hear at all on the impact? Because they get this booklet. How do you track the ministry side of this?
Well, we try to get stories, but sometimes that's hard. We try to get stories from the organizations as far as success stories, but some of the stories that I love to share. One is of a gentleman named David that I met at Amazing Love Ministries. When I had just started Bikes for Christ around the time that I met David, and I said, "Well, do you need a bike?" And he told me, "No." He goes, "I'm not responsible enough," because at that point, David was still drinking, he was still using. But he was honest enough to let me know that he wasn't ready. Well, fast forward a couple months later, around Christmas time, just prior to that, he had finally gotten sober. He'd gotten sober. Amazing Love Ministries gave him a place to live there on campus, and he had gotten a job. And at that point, he came to me and he said, "Can I have a bicycle?"
Wow.
And I said, "Absolutely." So the day after Christmas happened to be a Monday night when they do their big feeding, and I was able to deliver him a bicycle, which was like just a well-deserved Christmas present.
Wow.
So fast forward, coming up on 3 years later, David's still sober, he's still working, he's still living there at Amazing Love, he volunteers there, he's one of the volunteers there now. And he's donated back at least 4 bikes to Bikes for Christ. And so that's the kind of stories that, you like to share.
I love that, Pat. I love that. And one of the things that I think, I said this to you when we talked on the phone, when I take on a ministry that's new to our viewers, I have to see that it has some years, a few years of what you do. You have some years under it, and has some solid results. And when I hear this and talking to you and heard the impact you have, the connections you're having with other ministries, you are filling a need there. And I know these ministries you're partnering with are so appreciative of it, but it doesn't come for free. So tell us what you need, because our viewers, again, on Bay Focus, we try to help. We try to help the ministries we do. And that's one of the reasons we're having you on the show, because there is a need.
Right.
How can they help you?
Right. So obviously the first thing is bicycles. I mean, we need good, rideable or close to rideable bicycles. We now have a shop. I do have a mechanic who actually is reverend of a church, which is
Wow,
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, and so we have a shop, and we get bikes and stuff. But 85–90% of those bikes need some kind of work. They don't fix themselves. So yeah, so funds are needed. Funds are needed to fix up the bikes. Funds are needed for. It's just like any other business. Even though it says it's a nonprofit, the bottom line is we have to keep the operation going.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of expenses that go along with that. So monetary donations are also greatly appreciated and go a long way. And I will tell you this, we stretch those dollars, I think, further than just about any other nonprofit out there.
Well, I have to say, all right, so our viewers can there's a tangible way they can help you. And Pat, we're wrapping this up. We're going to go to a little bit of a video clip as well, just show the ministry a little bit more so too. But Pat, I just want to commend you for you saw a need, you felt a passion in you, and going on these outreach trips, missions, and then locally everything you've done. You're one person. What God can do with one person to develop an entire ministry always amazes me. I just see it, and I want to thank you for doing that, for all those that and giving other people opportunity to come alongside you. So thank you, and thank you for being on the show today, and keep us updated on the ministry and how it's going. So again, we gave you an opportunity here to let you know how you can help Bikes for Christ, and let's take another look at this ministry. Hello, my name is Darlene Greenlee, and I want to invite you to join us each week on Bay Focus. We are going to highlight local ministries, community organizations, events, concerts. Reporter Brooke Rathmel goes behind the scenes to get the interviews you want to see. I hope you will join me each week on Bay Focus.
Well, I'm going to tell you where my hope is. My hope is not in an organization. My hope is not in a plan. My hope is not in a treaty. My hope is in a man, a person that sits at the right hand of God the Father, the Lord Jesus Christ. And my hope is centered totally, completely in him.
Every project is a process. And in his working on us, God has a purpose and plan. His workmanship can be seen in the details of what Jesus has done through us. So walk in his process. Find your purpose.
Well, we've shown you a couple of ministries today that I hope that you will get out and support. Bikes for Christ. Wow, what a tremendous thing to see what they're doing to help people that need transportation. We don't realize how important that is for people to get their life on track. And bikes are needed and so important, and sharing the love of Christ along with that they do. So I hope you'll help them. And also Kids Pack that we featured early in the show, and how they are helping children that need meals over the weekends that may be in trouble because they get their meals at school during the week, but there's a level of financial issues on the weekends that they're going hungry. And Kids Pack could use your help as well, kidspack.org. You can reach them as well. But I wanted to say, too, that the thing that was so important about this show today is a great example is I was not familiar with either of these ministries. I was contacted by people to feature these ministries. So if I don't hear things we can't feature, and I want to hear, so I want you to contact me if you know of ministries that are out in the community here in Central Florida area. And we have a wide coverage area here for Channel 22 CTN Central Florida. That can be all the way up to almost Orlando, Lakeland area, those whole areas, down to almost Sarasota. Sarasota, actually we do cover the whole Sarasota area. So all those in between there, some of you in those areas, I'd like to hear from you. So you can contact, our contact information is on the screen, and I'll get back with you and definitely follow up. And I want to thank you for tuning in each week as well. What a blessing it is that you do. And I hear from some of you that you tend to partner with these ministries. You got involved, you volunteered, you gave financially. I want to thank you for that today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. God richly bless you.